Laudetur Jesus Christus, praised be Jesus Christ. A warm welcome to all of you from wherever you are joining us. We accompany the Holy Father Pope Francis on his apostolic journey as he visits Singapore since Wednesday, September 11th. My name is Bonga Majola. I'm glad to be able to provide you with the English language translation today. Pope Francis arrived in Singapore on Wednesday, beginning the final leg of his 45th apostolic journey and concluding his 12-day visit to Asia and Oceania, the longest of his pontificate. We know that the last papal visit to Singapore was in 1986 by Pope Saint John Paul II. For those of you joining us on the TVs, on your screens, you can see His Holiness Pope Francis has just arrived here at the Catholic Junior College, being welcomed by some dignitaries that are here and the young people. It's an interreligious meeting with young people. Now, as you already know, Pope Francis, his schedule has been quite full since his arrival here. Earlier this morning, he visited a group of elderly and sick individuals at St. Teresa's Home for the Elderly. And now, here he has just arrived at an interreligious gathering with young people, which will be the final major event of his visit here in Singapore. It's his last stop before he returns to Rome. So these images are coming to us live from the Catholic Junior College. And the theme of this gathering today is Together in Unity and Hope. Beautiful images there of Pope being embraced and lovely welcomed, as you can hear the drums and young people welcoming the Holy Father here. On behalf of Vatican Media, I welcome all of you who are joining us today for this live broadcast. Some of you are joining us through various Vatican Media channels, maybe the Vatican News live events app, the Radio Vatican app, the Vatican News English web portal, YouTube channel, or our Facebook live feed. Welcome to all of you joining us through Catholic TV, Catholic Faith Network, Shalom World Television, EWTN TV, Salt and Light Television, Shalom World Television, Shalom Television India, and Sunday Shalom at Madarshan TV India, and all of you joining us through radio stations, especially those listening through Luminous Radio India. And all of you tuning in through other local or diocesan radio broadcasts, or those of you picking up the shortwave transmission. I extend a warm welcome to those of you joining us through our American Sign Language broadcast, and all of you joining us through other internet sites and digital platforms throughout the world. Welcome to you all.
Make some more noise, come on everybody.
And yes, we're making more noise and welcoming the Holy Father as he arrives. It's this gathering for interreligious meeting with young people here at the Catholic Junior College.
Benvenuto. Papa Francesco. Thank you everyone, let's make some more noise. Woo! Papa Francesco, buongiorno e benvenuto. We are honored to have you today. Pope Francis is accompanied by the Archbishop of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Singapore, His Eminence Cardinal William Goh, and Minister for Culture, Community and Youth, and Second Minister for Law, Mr. Edwin Tong. Shall we do one more cheer with the Papa Francesco? Thank you, everyone. Please be seated.
A very good morning once again, everyone, and a warm welcome, Your Holiness. My name is Zakia.
And I am Brian.
And we are your MCs for today. We also have Janice here with us, who will be our sign language interpreter. Now, let us begin this interreligious youth event with welcome remarks by Cardinal William Goh. Your Eminence, please. Round of applause.
And yes, we'll take a moment and then we'll listen to the words of His Eminence, Cardinal William Goh, addressing the Holy Father.
Your Holiness, Pope Francis. Distinguished religious leaders, non-Catholic brothers and sisters, dear friends, the grace and peace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. It is my joy and pleasure to welcome you to the Catholic Junior College and to this event, together in unity and hope. A warm welcome especially to the Holy Father, Pope Francis, who has led the way and worked tirelessly to promote authentic dialogue as a way of life and as a path to bring healing to our wounded world. The Archdiocese of Singapore, working closely with the government and our friends of other faiths, is united with the Holy Father in our commitment to interreligious dialogue as a path to fraternity and peace in our society. In Singapore, interreligious dialogue has gone beyond mere tolerance or respect of each other's faith. Rather, we regard each other first as friends and take active and intentional steps to foster friendships, just as Jesus did. We are present at each other's religious celebration. We meet for discussions on common issues to forge greater unity among ourselves and work for the common good of society, especially in joint humanitarian projects, regardless of race or religion. We also support each other in times of trials, such as when terrorism strikes, rallying round each other in solidarity, consolation, and encouragement. Among the various events organized by the Archdiocese is an annual interreligious Christmas party at which leaders of religions gather in one of our churches to share their thoughts on peace and love. This is followed by a Christmas meal to exchange views and ideas. In March of this year, we coordinated the 15 Harmony Games, an annual gathering of young people across different races and religions, supported by the Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth. Our young people bonded as friends over games, traditional sports, and esports like Mobile Legends. Many similar events are hosted regularly by those of other faiths also, and we always look forward to meeting our friends, old and new, at such gatherings. Yet many changes lie ahead of us. There will always be extremists at work in all religions, threatening the harmonious relationships among believers of different faiths. Therefore, we do not take religious harmony in Singapore for granted. We must intentionally keep building and renewing ties, sharing common values, and celebrating our faith together. In this way, we overcome suspicion and misunderstanding and strengthen trust, especially among religious leaders. Singapore strives to be an icon for interreligious harmony in the world and a partner of the government in contributing to the good of the nation. Now, more than ever, we must be united in our hope for a better world. The faith communities that make up Singaporean society have a special role in emphasizing principles that are common across all our religions, and indeed across Singaporean society. First among these is respect for the dignity of human life and the need for a more just, compassionate, and inclusive society. Second, the importance of the family, since strong families are the bedrock of a strong society. Third, the formation and education of our people on the common values that strengthen the bonds among those from different races, cultures, and creeds, and foster the integral development of every human person. I pray that God will continue to guide us and strengthen our fraternal bonds of friendship as we work together to safeguard a multi-religious Singapore. May this gathering with the Holy Father, Pope Francis, spur us to greater zeal in the promotion of interreligious dialogue and deepen our human fraternity. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Eminence.
We are now delighted to welcome the Diverse Abilities Dance Collective of the Maya Dance Theatre. The collective will present Confluence, an exhilarating dance extravaganza bursting with intricate choreography from traditional Indian dance, Bharatanatyam, and contemporary dance. Let's give a warm welcome to the collective. That was breathtaking. Wasn't that such an inspiring performance,
I think it
Zakia?
was absolutely beautiful, Brian. Absolutely beautiful.
May we now invite Minister for Culture, Community and Youth and Second Minister for Law, Mr. Edwin Tong, to give his remarks. Minister, please.
Thank you. Your Holiness, Pope Francis, everyone here, good morning. Singapore warmly welcomes Pope Francis almost 4 decades after St. John Paul II visited Singapore. Your Holiness, I fondly recall our meeting at the Holy See in January 2022, where we spoke about the Catholic Church's 200 years in Singapore and issues of mutual interest, such as the importance of peace and harmony in multi-religious societies. Religious harmony is of existential importance to Singapore and our people. We are one of the world's most religiously diverse countries, and religion is an important part of life for many Singaporeans. We have put in place laws, policies, and structures that foster racial and religious harmony and help us to gather strength in diversity. The government works closely with our religious and community leaders to build trust and promote harmony in peacetime, and even more so during crises like the recent pandemic and terror attacks. Our eminent religious leaders, including our Catholic Archbishop, Cardinal William, are members of our National Steering Committee on Racial and Religious Harmony, which I chair. We meet regularly to discuss community issues and promote racial harmony. The Singapore Catholic community has contributed greatly to nation building over the past 200 years, and this is done in various fields such as education, healthcare, and religious harmony. For example, today's venue, Catholic Junior College, was established by the Roman Catholic Archdiocese almost 50 years ago now to provide post-secondary education to Singaporeans of all races and all religions. Today, Catholics in Singapore enjoy good relations with other communities. Many parishes play an active role in their local racial and religious harmony circles. Earlier this year, the Archdiocese inaugurated the Archdiocesan Interreligious Dialogue and the Ecumenism Center of Singapore to promote dialogue with other Christian denominations and other faiths. The Archdiocese also hosted our annual Harmony Games earlier this year, which gathered youths from different religions through sports and games, interacting on a social and fun level with everyone. The Catholic Church's promotion of dialogue, unity, fraternity, and social friendship in both Nostra Aetate and Your Holiness's third encyclical, Fratelli Tutti, resonates deeply with Singapore. These common endeavors help us to build better, more just, and a peaceful world. Strengthening social cohesion, however, is a global challenge. Unity and peace cannot happen without dialogue, trust, and cooperation for the common good. Our religious communities speak for values such as honesty, compassion, and fairness. These are powerful forces in building cohesion in a polarized world. We therefore appreciate and strongly support the efforts of the Holy See and the Catholic Archdiocese of Singapore to promote interreligious dialogue, which is critical for societies which have to navigate a divided and often turbulent world. In 2022, the Vatican Museums loaned a selection of Chinese Christian artifacts to our Asian Civilizations Museum to promote the understanding of Catholicism in Southeast Asia. In the same year, Singapore hosted the second International Conference on Cohesive Societies, or ICCS. Cardinal Pietro Parolin, Secretary of State of the Holy See, delivered a special address, highlighting 6 points for cohesion and solidarity. We look forward to developing and deepening this partnership with the Holy See and welcoming your representatives to the next ICCS. The visit of Your Holiness to Singapore galvanizes our communities, especially our youths, to unite and to renew our hope for the future. Today's dialogue is an important one. It takes us one more step towards fostering dialogue amongst our youth and across generations to build a better world. Your Holiness, we thank you for being in Singapore, for your blessings in Singapore, and for being a strong advocate for dialogue, unity, and charity. On behalf of our racial and religious communities in Singapore, we wish you good blessings, all the best in health, strong wisdom, and may God's blessings be with you always in your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Now, we have come to the most exciting part of today's event, and it is the dialogue or exchange between our interreligious youth leaders and His Holiness. Your Holiness, we have here on stage 10 youth leaders, and they represent the different racial and religious communities in Singapore. Some of them are interfaith activists, religious in training, and all of them are actively involved and passionate about interfaith dialogue.
Your Holiness, some of these youth leaders would like to share their stories with you and seek your advice. May I please invite Raj to start?
Dear Holy Father, good morning. My name is Raj, and I've been fortunate to serve in the space of fostering interreligious relations for close to a decade. Leading youths as the chief coordinator of the interreligious organization Youth Wing has been an immensely eye-opening but challenging process as well. There are days where I don't know what is the path forward. And there are days where I struggle even with my own spiritual journey. And there are days where I try so hard and I put on a brave front to continue doing what I can to foster a safe space for our youth to come in, even as I'm being maliciously criticized by some. While I've made some good friends in this space and I have many amazing youths with me, I also feel that this space is a bubble that does not easily get bigger, and that many of those who do need to humanize each other, unfortunately, don't come in as much. There are many armchair critics as well who do not. There are days where I feel unworthy of grace, of love, of God's infinite mercy, and I feel like an imperfect imposter. And there are days where I cry myself to sleep, knowing that even as we manage to make headways in our engagements with our youths, somewhere else in another part of the world, there's global violence and the loss of lives in the name of religion. There are many armchair critics who do not join our engagements or care about this work, despite how absolutely important it is to see each other as belonging to each other and working collaboratively to do our best and give our best to each other. So my question is, how do we continue to foster this labor of love, especially amongst our youths of today who are figuring their lives out and who do not see interreligious dialogue as a priority, an important platform of pushing crucial and meaningful action in social cohesion?
And so we having now a dialogue between the Holy Father and the young people. That's Raj, who has just addressed the Holy Father and asked his question, and the Holy Father has a personal word to say to him, and it's being translated there in private. And he asked a question then about how do we continue to foster this labor of love, especially among young people today. And then we're going to have another young person who's going to address the Holy Father and share her story as well.
Dear Pope Francis, good morning. I am Preet, a female Sikh from a youth organization called Sikh Sevak Singapore. where I have been given the opportunity to volunteer and lead the Sikh organization as the honorary secretary. I have been involved in the interfaith scene since I was introduced to it back in 2017. It gave me an opportunity to step out of my comfort zone, to do more for the wider community I am living in, because I wanted to give back and build experiences with the community. Being involved in interfaith dialogues and discussions have taught me to appreciate the life that I have been given and to celebrate and honor every moment. Taking reference from a basic guideline from our first Sikh Guru, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, he said, "Van ke shakna," which means to share with others. I believe that sharing does not only mean the materialistic elements, but also the learnings and bonds individuals create with one another. And what better way to do that than to create opportunities for dialogue? I have always wanted to create a cohesive community where individuals, especially the youth, can be given a safe space to share their opinions and experiences that strengthen communal bonds. In today's increasingly divisive world, it is an area that is very much needed to bring people together despite differences. Youth today are interested in worldly issues and may have a difference of opinions about such topics. If left unchecked, these can become polarizing forces. They want to be heard and are open to discussing different viewpoints, but are concerned about being judged, the lack of such safe spaces, and are also limited by keeping up with the expectations of school and work. How can we wisely manage these expectations and fear of judgment, given the high pressure to perform well in every aspect of life and the limited time for meaningful and constructive dialogue? Thank you.
And that was Preet addressing the Holy Father. And I think we'll listen to the third. There's another young person as well who's going to address
Thank you very much, Preet.
the Holy Father.
I want to say ciao to Papa Francesco. So my name is Nicole Law, and I'm a young working Catholic educator and a member of the Franciscan Young Adults community. I have facilitated interreligious dialogue among young people over the past few years. I've also been involved in communications within the Catholic Church and have tapped on various platforms and technologies to communicate spiritual truths to others. While technology has brought us closer together, it has also brought about many challenges. Typing a question into ChatGPT can help us to answer a question posed by a friend or colleague, or even be used to complete an assignment. Yet, with the proliferation of AI, there's also the emergence of falsehoods, and increasingly, we are finding it difficult to distinguish between what is real and what is constructed. It is so easy to use technology to create a false narrative and to spread false information about persons. The interreligious space is not an easy terrain and is even more prone to manipulation and misinterpretation. My question for you today, Holy Father, is how can we continue to harness the opportunities offered by AI while also managing the risks it poses to mutual understanding between different groups? Grazie.
And that's Nicole, who has just addressed the Holy Father as well and asked
Thank you so
a
much,
question.
Raj, Preet, and Nicole, for your candid and powerful sharing and questions. Your Holiness, Papa Francesco, we would love to hear from you now.
And of course, then the Holy Father will now respond and address these young people who have gathered here at the interreligious meeting at the Catholic Junior College.
Grazie per le vostre parole.
Thank you for your words.
Le parole che voi avete detto mi hanno colpito.
There were 3 words that you said that really struck me.
Critici di salotto, zona di comfort e tecnologia come un dovere di usare e anche un rischio di usare.
And the 3 thoughts were the criticisms that were received, comfort zone, and technology as something that we have to use, but at the same time, we have to be careful of because there are risks that come with it.
Questo è il discorso che avevo preparato.
That's the talk that I had prepared.
Ma adesso andiamo a parlare. La gioventù è coraggiosa e la gioventù piace andare verso la verità, fare cammini, fare creatività e la gioventù deve stare attenta a non cadere in quello che tu hai detto, i critici di salotto, bla 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 bla, ma chiuso, no?
Everything that the 3 of you said, you're right. And I just want to emphasize that about what you said was true. And the way that the courage to move forward and to make your own path.
Un giovane deve essere critico. Un giovane deve essere critico.
A young person has to be a critic.
Un giovane che non critica, oh.
A giovane has to always be a critic.
Ma deve essere costruttivo nella critica.
But you have to be constructive with your criticism.
Perché c'è una critica distruttiva, che soltanto critica ma non fa una strada nuova.
But criticism can also be destructive.
Io domando a tutti i giovani, ognuno, tu sei critico?
I ask every day, are you a critic?
Tu hai il coraggio di criticare e anche il coraggio di lasciarti criticare dagli altri.
Do you have the courage to criticize, but at the same time the courage to allow yourselves to be criticized?
Perché se tu critichi, l'altro critica te, no?
Because if you criticize others, they can criticize you.
E questo è il dialogo sincero fra i giovani.
And this is a sincere dialogue among young people.
I giovani devono avere il coraggio di costruire, di andare avanti.
Raj, the young people need to have the courage to move forward, to construct things, to be constructive.
E uscire delle zone confortabili.
To leave their comfort zones.
Un giovane che sceglie di essere sempre la sua vita in un mondo confortabile è un giovane che ingrassa.
A young person, though, that stays just in their own comfort and wants a comfortable life becomes fat.
Ma non ingrassa la pancia, ingrassa la mente.
Don't let your stomach get fat, but let your head get fat.
Per questo io dico ai giovani, rischiate, uscite.
And for this reason I say, take risks. Go out there.
Non avete paura.
Don't have fear. Don't be afraid.
La paura è un atteggiamento dittatoriale.
Fear is a dictatorial attitude.
Che ti fa paralitico.
And
ti fa paralisi. No?
It makes you paralyzed.
È vero che tante volte i giovani sbagliano.
It's true. Many times young people make mistakes.
E sarebbe bello che ognuno di noi, che ognuno di voi giovani, pensate quante volte ho sbagliato.
And it's good for all of us to think, how many times have we made mistakes?
Ho sbagliato perché ho incominciato a camminare e ho fatto degli errori nel cammino.
And perhaps I made a mistake because I started forward and I made steps in the path I was taking.
E questo è normale.
This is normal.
L'importante è rendersi conto che ho sbagliato.
The important thing is to realize that you made a mistake.
Faccio una domanda.
I'm going to ask a question.
Vediamo chi mi risponde di voi.
And we'll see who responds.
Cosa è peggio?
What is worse?
Sbagliare
Make a mistake
perché faccio un cammino o non sbagliare perché rimango chiuso a casa?
So what's worse? If to make a mistake because you actually stepped forward and did something, or not make a mistake but do nothing?
Tutti. Seconda, un giovane che non rischia,
The second one,
che ha paura di sbagliare, è un vecchio.
a young person that is afraid and doesn't take risks is an old person.
Capito?
Did you understand? Did you understand? Yeah.
Poi avete parlato dei media, no? Oggi ci sono tante capacità, no? Tante possibilità di usare i media, telefonino, televisione. Io vi domando, è buono usare i media o non è buono?
You all spoke about the possibilities today, especially with technology, with cell phones and other forms of media. So my question is it good to use them? Is it good to use media in order to communicate? Non è convinta, non è convinta.
Ma pensiamo, un giovane che non usa i media, com'è quel giovane?
A young person who uses means of communication, what is that person like?
Chiuso.
A person who doesn't would be closed in on himself or herself.
Un giovane che vive totalmente schiavo dei media, com'è quel giovane?
But on the other side, how is a young person who only lives for social media, is basically a slave to use their means of communication that are available? What type of person is that? What type of young person is that?
È un giovane disperso.
A person who's scattered.
Tutti i giovani anche devono usare i media.
Young people need to use media.
Ma usare i media perché ci aiutino ad andare avanti, no? Perché ci facciano schiavi.
But use it so that we can move forward and not become slaves of it.
Understood? Siete d'accordo o no?
Do you agree or no? Sono d'accordo.
Anche tutti i giovani lì. Adesso prendo qualcosa qui che volevo dirvi. È una delle cose che più mi ha colpito di voi giovani, di questi qui, no? È la capacità del dialogo interreligioso.
One of the things that struck me about all of you here is your ability to engage in interreligious dialogue.
E questo è molto importante.
And this is very important.
Perché se voi incominciate a litigare, la mia religione è più importante della tua, la mia è la vera, la tua non è vera, dove ci porta questo?
Because if we start to fight amongst ourselves and saying, my religion is more important than yours, my religion is true, yours is not, where will that lead us?
Dove?
Where will it lead us?
Qualcuno risponda, dove?
Someone respond. Where would it lead us?
Forte.
La distruzione.
È così. E ci vuole litigare.
Yes, it's okay to discuss and to...
Tutte le religioni sono un cammino per arrivare a Dio.
Because every religion is a way to arrive at God.
Dirò una comparazione, sono come diverse lingue, diversi idiomi per arrivare lì.
Sort of a comparison, an example would be they're sort of like different languages in order to arrive at God.
Ma Dio è Dio per tutti.
But God is God for all.
E come Dio è Dio per tutti, noi siamo tutti figli di Dio.
And if God is God for all, then we're all sons and daughters of God.
Ma il mio Dio è più importante del tuo.
But my God is more important than your God.
È vero quello?
Is that true?
C'è un solo Dio lì. E noi sono idiomi, cammino, lingue per arrivare a Dio.
There's only one God, and each of us is a language, so to speak, in order to arrive at God.
Qualcuno è Sikh, qualcuno musulmano, qualcuno
Sikh, Muslim,
Hindi, qualcuno cristiano,
Indo,
ma sono
Christian.
diversi cammini.
There are different paths.
Understood? Ma per il dialogo interreligioso fra i giovani ci vuole coraggio.
In order to have interreligious dialogue among young people, it takes courage.
Perché l'età giovanile è l'età del coraggio.
Because youth is really the time when they're the time of courage in our lives.
Ma tu puoi avere questo coraggio per fare cose che non ti aiuteranno, per esempio, no?
But you can also have this courage and use it for things that really don't help you.
Ma tu puoi avere il coraggio per andare avanti.
Or,
il dialogo.
Or you can use that courage in order to move forward and to engage in dialogue.
E una delle cose che aiuta tanto
One of the things that helps very much
è il rispetto e il dialogo.
Is to respect dialogue.
Io vi dirò una cosa, non so se succede qui in questa città, ma in altre città succede.
I don't know if it happens here, but I want to tell you something. In others, this may not happen here, but in other cities, this happens.
Fra i giovani c'è una cosa brutta.
Among young people, there's something that is that is ugly.
Bullying.
Bullying.
Io domando a voi.
I ask you.
Chi è il più coraggioso, la più coraggiosa per dirmi cosa pensa del bullying?
Who's the most courageous among you to tell me what is bullying? Bullying.
Cosa dice questo?
Basicamente
come?
Per non incoraggiare qualcuno, trattare qualcuno male, per lasciarlo giù.
Essentially projecting our pain, our unhealed pain on someone repeatedly.
Basicamente
come?
Lui dice che il bullying è di progettare per trasmettere il nostro dolore a qualcun altro. Così.
I think it's about criticizing someone about things that they cannot change.
Criticare le altre per le cose che non possono cambiare.
Simply judging someone without knowing them first.
Giudicare qualcuno senza conoscere la persona.
I think it's about oppression, putting people down.
Oppressione, un tipo di oppressione.
I think it's trying to be better than someone.
Penso di essere meglio di qualcun altro o cerca di essere meglio.
I think it's about putting someone down and not understanding why we are different, but at the same time we are very similar.
Trattare male qualcuno, però allo stesso tempo non capire.
I think it's intentionally harming others and making them feel very upset about things that they cannot change.
I think bullying is taking your own obscurities and weaknesses and projecting it onto others to make everyone feel equal.
I think it's judging someone unfairly and, of course, some destructive criticism against the person as well.
I think bullying is when you don't see the other person as a fellow human being.
Mi è piaciuto quello. Ognuno ha dato una definizione con un aspetto diverso del bullying.
I like what you said because each one of you provided a different aspect of what bullying is.
Ma sempre, sia il bullying verbale o il bullying fisico, sempre è una aggressione.
Physical bullying is always aggression.
Sempre.
Always.
E pensate, nelle scuole o nei gruppi giovanili o dei bambini, il bullying lo fanno con coloro che sono più deboli.
In the schools, usually bullying happens and it's done to those who are weaker.
Per esempio,
For example,
con un bambino, una bambina disabile. Disabile.
oh, a disabled person.
È disabile e le danno il bullying. E noi abbiamo visto qui questo bel ballo con bambini disabili.
But yet we saw this beautiful dance here with disabled people involved.
Ognuno di noi ha le proprie abilità e le proprie disabilità.
And each one of us has our own abilities and our own disabilities.
Tutti abbiamo abilità? Domando.
Do we all have abilities? It's a question.
E tutti abbiamo qualche disabilità?
And do all of us have some disabilities?
Anche il Papa?
Even the Pope?
Yes?
Yes. Oh.
All. E come noi abbiamo le proprie disabilità, dobbiamo rispettare le disabilità degli altri.
And since we all have disabilities, we have to respect the disabilities of others.
Per agree? E questo è importante perché...
This is important.
Perché dico questo?
Why do I say this?
Perché superare queste cose aiuta a quello che voi fate, il dialogo interreligioso.
Because in order to, if we were able to move beyond these things, it helps what you do. You engage in interreligious dialogue.
Perché il dialogo interreligioso si costruisce con il rispetto delle altre.
Because you're able to build on and move forward with interreligious dialogue when you respect each other.
E questo è molto importante.
And this is very important.
Qualche domanda?
Do you have any questions?
No.
No?
Io voglio ringraziare e ripetere questo che Rach ci ha detto. Fare tutto il possibile per mantenere un atteggiamento coraggioso e promuovere uno spazio in cui i giovani possono entrare e dialogare.
I thank you, and I'd like to repeat what Raj said, which I'm trying to find right now. Raj told us that to do everything possible to maintain a courageous attitude and promote a space in which young people can enter into dialogue, that safe space.
Perché il dialogo vostro è un dialogo che fa cammino, fa strada.
Because the dialogue is something that creates a path, creates a way.
E se voi dialogate da giovane, dialogherete più da grandi, da adulti, dialogherete come cittadini, come politici.
And if you dialogue as young people, there will also be dialogue amongst yourselves on a larger level, as citizens, as members of a community.
E vorrei dirvi una cosa storica.
And I want to tell you something historical.
Ogni dittatura nella storia, la prima cosa che fa è tagliare il dialogo.
In history, the first thing that a dictatorship does, it takes away dialogue.
Ringrazio queste domande e sono contento di incontrare i giovani, di incontrare questi coraggiosi, quasi sfacciati, sono bravi.
I'm very happy to be here to meet with young people, and I just want to say that you're very courageous.
Io auguro che tutti voi giovani, auguro che andiate avanti con un'illusione e non andate indietro.
And for all of you young people here, move forward. Do not go back.
Rischiate.
Take risks.
Rischiate.
Take risks.
Ti è piaciuta, eh? Ti è piaciuta quella?
You like that? You like that?
Rischiate. Dal contrario cresce la pancia. Dal contrario cresce la pancia.
Doing the opposite, it makes your stomach grow.
God bless you. And pray for me. I'll do for you. E adesso in silenzio facciamo una cosa.
And now together in silence, let's do something.
Preghiamo gli uni per gli altri.
Let's pray for each other.
Silenzio. Che Dio benedica tutti noi.
May God bless all of us.
E quando passi un po' di tempo, che voi già non sarete giovani, sarete grandi e anche sarete nonni, insegnate tutte queste cose ai bambini.
And as time passes and you become older, especially as you become grandparents, pass this on. Pass this on to the children, your children and grandchildren.
God bless you. And pray for me, don't forget. But pray in favor, not against. Thank you.
And then those are the words of Holy Father Pope Francis. He has just responded to the 3 questions which were asked by 3 young people from different religions, and he has entered into this dialogue with the Holy Father. He has entered into this dialogue with these young people, and now they come to greet him individually and thank him for his words. He spoke about 3 words: courage, invited young people to be courageous.
For your words of wisdom and for the encouragement for all of us to have the courage to take risks. We have just heard about the challenges and opportunities about interreligious dialogue, but a clear call to be protagonists of a more harmonious world. In the presence of His Holiness, Pope Francis, we young people would like to take this opportunity to pledge to be champions of harmony. We want to invite youth all over the world to join us as we strive to live lives of cooperation, dialogue, and friendship with one another. Your Holiness, to do this, we have prepared the Future Gen Call for Unity and Hope, which we will now recite. May I please invite our youth leaders to line up here up on stage. Everyone else, please could I invite you to stand up. Can all the young people please repeat after Zakia and me? And of course, we welcome everyone else to join in. Let's say it as loudly and as courageously as we can. Please repeat after us. We, the future generation, pledge to be a beacon of unity and hope by promoting cooperation and friendships that nurture the harmonious coexistence between people of diverse beliefs.
Thank you, everyone. What a milestone to be able to recite this pledge together and be a lighthouse of unity and hope. Let us stay true to our commitment. Now, we'll now take a big group photo with everyone. So may I invite His Holiness, Your Eminence and Minister up on the center stage to take a group photo.
And everyone,
please
get
take
ready
out
your
flags as well. Take out your flags.
biggest smiles. We're going to do a huge group photo with everyone here on stage and all of you. So please prepare yourselves. Could I get the youth also to get ready? All right. Are you ready with your flags and with your smiles? Make sure you're not blocking anyone.
Wave it up high, wave it up high. Yep, I need to see it, yes?
Yes,
yep,
amazing.
Yep, okay.
Please make sure that, everyone is included in this picture.
While we wait for His Holiness to get his seat, I will just say a flap, like a cheer. Papa Francesco! Papa Francesco!
All right, okay, we are getting into position. Is everyone ready?
Woo! Make some woo!
Okay, we are almost about to take the photo. Come on, dancers, please join us. Are we ready? Minister?
Okay, and
prepare yourselves, wave your flags up high, wave your flags up, give us your biggest smile. All right?
One,
okay, the
two,
count of
three.
Smile.
Fun shot. All right, one more.
One, two, three.
Smile. Awesome. Peace. Okay, great.
All right.
Peace and harmony. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're going to do a 45, Minister.
Okay.
It's coming up. We are getting ready. Squeeze in, please, everybody.
Okay, everyone,
sure
wave your flags. Wave your flags. Come on. Okay, look at Minister Tom's headphone, okay? At the count of 1, 2, 3.
Smile.
Woo!
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you.
And we are currently taking a group photo there with Pope Francis.
Of the dialogue segment of this event, His Holiness will take his leave shortly. Can we give him a huge round of applause and cheer? Papa Francesco. Papa Francesco. Papa Francesco. Papa Francesco. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, and then that's how we conclude this gathering, interreligious gathering with young people here at the Catholic Junior College. Pope Francis, this was his last major event here in Singapore, and he will be returning to Rome. And he's greeting the young people once again after they've taken that beautiful picture, which we will shortly see it on social media, hopefully.
Papa Francesco, arrivederci. We thank you, Your Holiness, for gracing us with your presence this morning. Thank you, everybody. one more big cheer for Pope Francis. Papa Francesco.
And of course, we heard from the Cardinal of Singapore, of the Archdiocese of Singapore, at the beginning of this gathering, and then the Minister of Culture, and then the three young people who addressed and shared their story with Pope Francis and asked some questions. And then he responded to their questions and entered into a dialogue, an exchange with these young people, and called them to take risk, to be courageous, to be able to criticize and to ask questions, but above all to take risks and not to be afraid to engage with the world. He also touched the topic of social media, and he said it must be used with responsibility. We must be responsible. He called the young people to be courageous in all these things. And those of us following us on the screens, we see the Pope now leaving the event, and he still has a number of people to greet, still young people as well in front of him. And the theme of this meeting, of this gathering, has been unity and hope. His whole time here in Singapore, there was the underlying theme, unity and hope. And we saw a beautiful logo as well, which depicted or somehow explained this visit, which had a cross inspired by the star that guided the Magi, by the Eucharist, and the 5 stars of the flag of Singapore. And on either side of the cross is the motto of the apostolic journey, unity, hope. Unity expresses communion and harmony among believers, both within the church and in the context of society and family relations. And hope suggests that the journey will be a beacon of hope for Christians in the region, especially for those who experience discrimination and persecution. And the colors that were used here evoke the flag of the Vatican City-State. And it had a logo then below. The motto is the name of the Holy Father together with the name of the country and the year of the papal visit, depicted in red on a white background, the colors of the flag of Singapore. So the Holy Father is now leaving this venue, the Catholic Junior College. We might as well highlight that the church's history in Singapore is very much closely tied to nearby Malaysia, where Portuguese missionaries arrived in the 16th century. We know that St. Francis Xavier reached Malacca in 1545, and in 1558 the area became a diocese under the Archdiocese of Goa, a Portuguese colony in India at the time. However, during Dutch Calvinist rule, Catholicism was banned, and then Catholicism was restored after Singapore was acquired by the British East India Company in 1819. And by 1821, a missionary found around 12 Catholics on the island, increasing to 500 by 1838. And then Portuguese missionaries and the Society of Foreign Missionaries of Paris founded churches and schools. And in 1841, the Apostolic Vicariate of Malacca, Singapore was established, which later evolved into today's Archdiocese of Singapore. Despite hardships such as persecution during Japanese occupation, the Catholic Church in Singapore has grown into one of the most dynamic in Southeast Asia, serving around 176,000 Catholics. Now, Pope Francis visited Singapore he arrived here in Wednesday, the 11th of September, and this was his final stop of his Asia-Pacific tour. We know that this was his first visit to Singapore following Pope St. John Paul II's visit in 1986. And during his 3-day stay here, Pope Francis met with local authorities, civil society representatives and the diplomatic corps. And in his address at the National University of Singapore, he praised the country for its economic development, commitment to social justice and efforts to maintain harmony in its diverse society. He also emphasized the importance of including the marginalized in Singapore's progress and highlighted the contributions of the Catholic Church in education. We see here in our images the Pope greeting some church representatives of different religions and different denominations and different representatives from other religions as well. Currently taking a group picture. Now, during this visit, also Pope Francis underlined the need for family values, ecological responsibility, and fostering peace through multilateralism. His visit included a private meeting with the Jesuits and a papal mass, which was celebrated yesterday, which was one of the key highlights for many of the local Catholic community. We see once again in our screens here for those following on TV, the Pope is leaving the venue and still greeting some people and some different religion representatives from different religions. We at the Catholic Junior College, where he has had a meeting, an interreligious meeting with young people. Just take some time to enjoy these images in front of us and see the Holy Father interacting with these different people who have warmly welcomed him here in Singapore. And there he comes, leaving the venue, and applause as usual. Now, in the dialogue with the young people, 3 of them addressed questions to the Holy Father after sharing their story. Raj asked, how do we continue to foster love, especially among young people today who are figuring out their lives and do not see interreligious dialogue as a priority or important platform to promote crucial, meaningful and socially cohesive action? And the Pope, His Holiness Pope Francis, responded that we invited the young people to be courageous. And the other young person, I think it was Preet, who was the second one to speak, addressed the Holy Father as well And at the end, she asked, how can we wisely manage our expectations and overcome our fear of judgment, given the high pressure to perform well in every aspect of life and the limited time for meaningful and constructive dialogue? And the Pope engaged in that as well, and he responded to her question, and he highlighted bullying and invited young people to not to be afraid to take risks and to be outgoing, to be closed into themselves. And then we have Nicole, who asked, how can we continue to harness the opportunities offered by artificial intelligence as we also manage the risks it poses to mutual understanding between different groups? And the Holy Father spoke lengthily, responding to that, about the use of social media. Invited young people to use social media responsibly, to create dialogue, to enter into dialogue and to engage with other people rather than being closed into themselves. We have these beautiful images here, joyful people meeting and greeting the Holy Father. We see now the Holy Father getting into his car, and he will shortly leave this venue. At the beginning of this gathering, we had also the Minister of Culture who addressed the Holy Father, and he told us that the Singapore Catholic community has contributed greatly to nation building over the past 200 years in various fields such as education, healthcare, and religious harmony. He said, for an example, today's venue, the Catholic Junior College where we are, was established by the Roman Catholic Archdiocese almost 50 years ago to provide post-secondary education to Singaporeans of all races and religions. And the Holy Father leaving the venue. And with these images then we conclude. This brings to the end this live broadcast of the interreligious meeting with young people here at the Catholic Junior College in Singapore. I invite you to please visit the Vatican News web portal, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube accounts for coverage of today's papal events and other Vatican and world news. On behalf of Vatican Media and Radio Vaticana, I would like to thank our in-studio audio technician and our audio coordinator and all our media partners, TV and radio, and our friends at DYCIA who have made this broadcast possible. And thank you to all of you for joining us. My name is Bonga Majola. It's been a great pleasure to be with you this morning, and I wish you a beautiful day. Praised be Jesus Christ. Laudetur Jesus Christus.